I shall be with you all shortly. Hi, Kevin. Here we are. So we're just making sure that everything's working on this new platform before I officially begin. Can you all hear me okay? Great. Good, good, good. Hi, Steve. Hi, Michael. How's Rio? I think we're probably having the same kind of temperatures in London today that you're having in Rio. It's been somewhere crazy, like in the late 30s, 35, 36 degrees. Just insanely hot. Cool. So guys, if you want to put chats up, use the chat box, and in the Q&A, that's where you can put any of your actual questions that I've got a list of pre-prepared questions already. And if we get through all of those and I've still got some time left, then any more questions in the Q&A section, I'll see how much I can get through in the 90 minutes that we've got. So really looking forward to this. Still got a couple of minutes. I'm sure we're going to have a last minute flurry of people. So who else is having crazy weather? Who else is getting the global warming effect? Vienna. Nice. I've yet to go to Vienna, but I would love to go there. I've heard great things about it. I've got some very exciting news as well, by the way. We've just been filming all day for a just amazing music business course that we're going to be posting up shortly. I believe next week the collaboration course that I did is coming up. It's going to be on the site, and then after that is going to be the music business course. And there's a very good friend of mine who's been in this business for 3 decades now. He's been a promotions consultant. He's been an artist consultant. He's got his own record label. He's been a manager, a publisher. He's done absolutely everything in the music business. And get this, in his 3 decades in the business, he's helped his clients sell 60 million records. And so we've been talking all day to the camera, to each other in front of the camera, interview style, about the music business, about publishing deals, record deals, networking, synchronizations, artist development, how to copyright and protect your works, and pretty much everything that you need to know. What Bob James doesn't know about the music business is not worth knowing. So we're giving you the information from the very, very best that there is. So there's a real treat for you guys. Do you know on here that you can do a hands up? So how many of you guys would be interested in knowing how to get your music out there? Let's have a hands up. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much all of you. So yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to help you guys do. You know, we want you all to have hits. But as Bob and I were chatting at length today about this, excuse me, we were chatting at length today about this, and Bob totally in agreement with me that talent is never enough. You've got to understand how the music business works. You've got to treat it like you're the CEO of your own company. And, you know, you're the CEO, you're the accountant, the cleaner, the driver, the musician, the session musicians, the singers, you're the writer, you're everything. And so you've got to understand how it works. And the course that we've filmed today is working through all of that to help you navigate your way through the music business and understand how it works, understand how to protect your works, how to make sure that you get paid what you're due, as well, because money is not a dirty word in the music business. Money enables us to carry on doing what we love doing. So we've got to make sure that we get paid what we're due. So good. I think we're good to start here, actually. So what have we got here? Steve, it looks like, hi, Martin, I'm in Carlisle. Great heat wave, but cooler today. Rain tomorrow. It's actually just started raining outside, and I'm almost tempted, if the laptop would survive it, to go out in the rain and talk to you guys from out there and just have a really good, cool shower, because, wow, it's just been unbelievable today. So welcome, everybody, to this new platform. We're going to be using Zoom because it's faster, it's more secure. I know we had issues last time with this, with the webinar, but hopefully this is going to be much more secure. You get a chance to raise your hands during this as well, which is kind of cool. So when I'm asking you questions about stuff, please do dive in and really take part in this. You know, I want to get to know all of you guys. Hi, Kevin. Hi there. So it looks like we've got a ton of questions that have gone into here already. So I'm going to crack on with these questions. These are our pre-prepped ones. So this question is from Mark Miner, and Mark, you're on today. Good to see you here, mate. So hello, Martin. In the breakdown of God is a Woman. Now this is, if some of you aren't aware of it, hopefully you are, but we now have a YouTube channel, Songwriting Academy, and I am doing breakdowns of songs, and I believe there's 6 on there, 5, 6, where I'm doing a breakdown of songs, and that means going into, first of all, like the overarching feel of what the song is and what it's about, but really going into depth on how the song's been put together, the nuts and bolts, the structure, the lyrical content, the melodic content, the harmonic content, so the chords, and how the whole thing has been put together and why these songs are massive, massive hits. So God is a Woman is an Ariana Grande song that I did a breakdown of, and 4 days after it was released, it was #2 in the Spotify charts, getting 4 million spins on Spotify every day. So I was really interested to go in and see what really made this song tick and why people were just so attached to it. Certainly, there's always going to be a little bit of this thing that people, when they're fans of the artist already, they're going to be spinning the song. But not all songs get 4 million spins a day. So I did a complete breakdown of this, and it was really, really interesting. Not least of all because of the title of the thing. Very controversial title, but it's not a religious song. So anyway, I digress. Mark, hello, Martin. In the breakdown of God is a Woman, you mentioned that creative and unusual phrasing is common in modern pop songs. And unfortunately, you avoided to sing the triplets in the pre-chorus for us. I would say that was more fortunate, really, because it's a because I guess no one can do that as long as you are not Ariana Grande. To be honest, as a songwriter, I understand that this is a cool thing to do. It's new, and it's something that no one did before in pop music, as far as I can tell. But as a music fan, I can't see what's so great in this pre-chorus. No one can sing along, and it disturbs the wonderful melody in the rest of the song. But maybe that's my old-fashioned taste. That leads to my questions. Number one, isn't that counterproductive when no one can sing along? And number two, in my opinion, it's hard to write something like that, pre-chorus triplets, if you can't play or sing it yourself. So let me handle these one at a time then. It's funny because I couldn't sing along to it, but I am pretty sure that my 18-year-old daughter would be able to, because what they do is they sit down with the lyrics and they work through the thing. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember a Pepsi advert from way back when. And it was out when I was a kid, and it went, lip smacking, thirst quenching, ace state and motivating good, buzzing cool, talking high, working fast, living, ever giving, cool, fizzing, Pepsi. Let's have a show of hands. Who remembers the Pepsi ad with that really long, complicated phrase? Great, excellent. I'm not the only old one here. And what that was like a challenge to us. And it's a very interesting thing because, you know, I talk about songs being very simple a lot of the time and conversational and easy to follow. But occasionally I will deliberately put something in that's very complicated and requires concentration to remember. And a case in point on the retreat, the songwriting retreat that I did in Andalusia in May, I was working with this wonderful guy called Jack Bowden, and he has got this very cool kind of delivery. He's very young, very cool, a bit sort of Ed Sheeran-like, and elements of rap in what he does. And we deliberately wrote something that was complicated that people would have to try to remember. They would actually have to try to remember this thing, as opposed to it being very, very simple. And sometimes this really, really works. And I think it did in our song, because what it does is it draws the attention. Now, whether you're a fan of what this actually is in the Ariana Grande song, God Is a Woman, it may not be your cup of tea, but there were millions of people streaming this song. And I guarantee that a load of young, probably girls, would be sitting, because she's female, obviously, and it's a very feminine song, would be sitting down, looking at the lyric and working out how to sing it. I remember when Eminem first, there was a big song that Eminem released, and I couldn't sing along with the chorus, but I went into a bar and all of these young guys were singing every single word of the chorus. They'd studied the thing and they were singing along with it. And I remember thinking, wow, that's so cool. And so, yes, by and large, I tend to keep things pretty simple so people can learn it very easily. But occasionally, it's kind of cool to throw a curveball in there and throw people something that they've really got to struggle to learn. I know it sounds counterproductive, but for me, it's not, because it's not that no one can sing along. It's more like not everybody can sing along. But like I say, some people see this as a challenge. For me, what was more interesting was the fact that it wasn't something that just marched out on the beat. And you'll find this in a lot of contemporary songs where we could just sing something marching out the beat, and, you know, either in the 4s or the 8s of the bar. And because it's kind of very simple, and we're brought up listening to nursery rhymes, which are twinkle, twinkle, you know, very kind of like in a predictable place. But sometimes it's really cool to just experiment. I think my point with God Is a Woman, that it's really cool to experiment if you've got a line about breaking it up into either couplets or triplets. We're about to, it's going to be a couple of days late because I haven't been very well this week, but we're about to post up the breakdown of Attention, a great song by Charlie Puth. He does the same thing. He breaks the song into little couplets and triplets. And I find it really interesting, and I think it's a very contemporary style. So you don't have to do it, but if you do, don't worry about excluding everybody. If you decide to put something a little bit more intricate in there, sometimes it can be a bonus. So the second question from Mark is, in my opinion, it's hard to write something like that, like the pre-chorus triplets, if you can't play it or sing it yourself. So what do you do when you want to write that kind of crazy modern stuff, but obviously I'm not skilled enough to reproduce what sounds so great in your head? Get somebody that can. It's very rare for me to sing my own demos. I've got a few that I sing. First of all, if you want to write it, slow it down. Slow down the track and see how it might work. And then when it comes to it, just try saying it, first of all. Try speaking out loud, as in, you know, when I first said the Pepsi advert, lip smacking, thirst quenching, etc. And the more I did it, the quicker I got with it. But it's not sung. It was just lip smacking, thirst quenching, they say the mode of any good, buzzing cool, talking how, walking fast, living ever, giving cool, fizzing, Pepsi. And I would used to be much quicker when I was a kid, but I can still remember it like 1,000 years later when I'm much older. So so if you want to try doing that, first of all, do it within your parameters, but but do push a little bit harder, slow the track down, and see if you can play the thing, play the melody in, and then, you know, get a session singer. It is more of a, I guess it's more of a young thing to do, to be honest with you, unless we're talking about rapping. But to sing these kind of melodies, it's kind of a more youthful thing. Get a youthful singer in and see if they can do it. If they can't, then maybe reshape the lyric and the phrasing so they can. But more to the point, try different types of phrasing. And it doesn't have to be crazy complicated things, as complicated as God is a woman. But it's a really good tip to try different phrasings. Anything that's going to surprise the listener, because just because someone starts listening to your song, it doesn't mean they're going to carry on listening to your song. So we have to keep pulling them back into our song. There's like an unwritten rule of thumb that every 8 bars, give the listeners something new that they haven't heard before. This is obviously coupled with repetition as well, but give them something new, even if it's a production, what we call ear cookies. So it might just be a little bell that goes bing in the background, or it might be you take an instrument out of the production. It could be either the production or the writing, where you give them new little sort of ear cookies along the way, new nuggets to enjoy along the way. And that's why I talk so much about contrast in songwriting. So the verse contrasts to the pre-chorus, which contrasts to the chorus, and or bridge if you are having a bridge as well. So it's all about the techniques that we can use. And this is just one of the many techniques that we can use for keeping the listener interested. So Mark, it doesn't have to be as complicated as that, but try using the similar technique. Okay, next up, we've got Erwin Cruz. Since being a perfectionist is something creative people deal with, oh my gosh, yes. E.g., believing the song written still needs more tweaking until a lot of time had already passed. When it is time to songwriting with a deadline to consider, are there any strategies or approaches you would advise in order to strike that good balance between writing the lyrics and melody in an unforced natural flow, letting the creativity come to you, but at the same time making sure the lyrics and melody are done before the deadline? So yes, I've been here many times, Erwin. I've been on, there's a bunch of writing camps. There was one in particular in Berlin where we were writing for the expected winner of The Voice Germany. And this was for Sony Records, Sony Germany. And there were 5 teams of 3 writers that were put into rooms, and we had to write and produce a song for this person by 9 o'clock that evening, and we started about 11, something like that, 11 in the morning. So we had 10 hours to write and produce a full working demo of a song. So no pressure there whatsoever. But a funny thing happens when you have a deadline. Somehow we find inspiration much quicker. And I think it's because we're not overthinking it. We use a lot more placeholder lines. We'll say, oh, do you know what? We'll come back to that. Let's not worry about it now. We'll come back to it. And this is something that I do anyways, where I use placeholder lines, or I'll even leave a line and think, you know, I'll fix it later. And the curious thing about the brain is that the creative brain is that it still works on stuff when we're not thinking about it actively. It's an incredible bit of kit, the brain. And you can just be thinking about a chorus and working on that. You come back to the line that you missed out in a verse, and suddenly it'll come to you just like that. And it's a very strange phenomenon how this happens. So first of all, when you have a deadline, you don't have time to overthink. And so you just get the bones of the song out far, far quicker. And then when you come back to things that you've left out, you're able to find the answers quicker. The mind just kind of realizes that it's got to crack on with it. And we all did this. We absolutely all nailed a demo by the end of the day. They were great demos, great songs as well. but the deadline makes us work faster. And sometimes it's actually really beneficial to have a deadline. And I would say to all of you, here's an exercise for you. I would like you, over the course of the next couple of weeks before the next Q&A call, to try writing and finish a song. Give yourself 3 hours to write and finish a song, and literally set an alarm. Don't just look at the clock and go, okay, well, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll finish at 5. And you get to 5 and you go, you know what, I'll just give it another hour. Literally set an alarm and put yourself in a state of panic, and see how productive you are. See how much more productive you are with this. And often with these things, you get so much closer to the finished article because you're not overthinking. I'm going to give you another example of how this happens. When we do the songwriting retreat, occasionally what we'll do is we'll have one of the songwriting days will be where you only have 5 hours to write a song. Okay, 5 hours, which is pretty tasty, but to finish a song and be ready to play back 5 hours later. So that's write the song and actually practice it enough so you can sing it back to the group. And everybody always manages to finish a song in that time. Some people are finished within 2 and they write another one because they've just gone, okay, bang, they just get it out of their systems. More interestingly is that on one of the days on the Andalusian retreat, we don't have a playback session at night. So the writers have from 11 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night to write, but with no pressure of a playback session at night. And the next day off, they have the next day, because that Tuesday night is a bit of a party night. So we say, okay, you got the following day off and you'll play back the songs you're writing today, tomorrow night. Guess what happens with about 80% of the writers? They don't finish the song within that period, within that, 8 hours to do that, the standard working day. They don't finish the song. And they're even panicking finishing the song by the time of the playback the following night. So because in their minds they allowed themselves 2 days to write, they don't get it done in time. And it's a very, very curious phenomenon. Douglas Adams, who wrote Watership Down, very, very famous author, said, I love deadlines. He says, I love the sound as they whoosh past. But there's something very, very motivating about a deadline. And here's the way to think about it. When you do this exercise of trying to write a song in 3 hours, imagine that you have to play it back to the head of a record label, and maybe even think of an artist that you might be wanting to write it for. You don't have to do that, but imagine that you have to play it back to someone that night. In fact, maybe pick a family member or a friend and say, be in the room at 5 o'clock this evening. I'm going to start at 2 and I'm going to play you back a finished song. How many people are up for this challenge? Raise your hand if you're up for the challenge. Oh my gosh. I don't see a single hand up there. So just tell me something. Can you hear me? Let's just have a show of hands to see if you can hear me. Raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay, let's just have a look what's going on here. Right, so you can all hear me. Oh, okay then. So somebody raised their hands here twice then, did they? Right, okay, let's have a show of hands again, or stick a big smiley face into the chat room if you are up for the challenge of writing and finishing a song in 3 hours and playing it back to someone. There's a smiley face from Mark Miner. Good on you, Mark. Fantastic. Right, good, good, good. And post them up on the website, okay? Post them up on songwritingacademy.com in the community. Somebody take the initiative and put up a page saying 3-hour songs, okay? And then you all play them back to each other as well. And let's see how you get on with it. I would love to hear how you get on with it. It's all about the mindset, people. If somebody sat you in a room and said, hey, you know what? You get the chance to, tell you what, here's $100,000 if you can write a song in 2 hours. How many of you would do that? How many of you would finish a song in 2 hours if there was 100 grand in it? Right, exactly. So it's about motivation. So deadlines are good things. So thank you for that question, Owen. And thank you for prompting a new exercise for you all. Yay. Right, moving on. Eric Tan. When you have a set of, say, 5 demos ready to be shared with publishers and labels, is it best to A, share all the 5 songs all at once, or B, have some kind of cadence, i.e. share 1 song a week? Eric, really good question. I've been talking about this with Bob James today in terms of how the music business works. And certainly when you are first in touch with a publisher or record label, if they're asking for a song for an artist, then give them the best song that you have for that artist. If you have a relationship with that record label and the person in the label, the publisher, then you can say, hey, listen, how many songs would you like me to share with you? But nobody is going to thank you for sending 5 songs, because in the music business, people don't have time to listen to 5 songs in any given setting. Even if they like one of them, they'll go, oh, you know, I've got a ton of stuff to be getting on with today. So my advice would be, and has always been, 1 song. If they love it, you send the best thing that you can to them. And if it's for an artist, the most appropriate song for that artist. And if they love it, then they might come back to you for more. They'll let you know. And then you can say, hey, would you like to hear more? And if they say yes, they're excited, then maybe share another couple with them. Not as MP3s, I would say as a SoundCloud link, as an example, or Songspace if you use that. But something that's easy for them to click on and access. Because you know what, if you're sitting with your mobile phone, as everybody is these days, with a place with a bad connection, then they're not going to thank you for clogging up their email box with 12 megabytes of MP3, stopping other emails coming in, especially in that area of bad connection. So initially, just send 1 song and wait and see what the reaction is. But if you are looking for a publishing deal and you're in a dialogue with a publisher, you shouldn't just be sending cold stuff anyway. You have to create that relationship first with whoever you're sending stuff to. You've got to create the relationship first. That means going out and networking with people. And if you're an artist, the record label should be chasing you, really. But once you have this relationship with the record label and publisher, then, you know, in the ideal world, it will be, hey, look, why don't we meet up and I'll play you a couple of songs. So the relationship is all important, and that will determine how and when you interact with them. So great question, Eric. Thank you very much for that. Okay, next question. I can't believe we're half an hour in already, or 25 minutes in already. Fernando de Ita Dominguez. What a great name. Where or to whom is recommended to get my songs to in order to get other singers to sing them? Well, Fernando, if you're talking about getting demo singers to sing your songs, then there's no better place than the Songwriting Academy forum, where there's loads of great singers on this community. We're building so fast around the world at the moment. There's loads of great singers. Chances are, in the ideal world, they'll be local to you as well. But if not, then you can get these sessions done remotely. Network locally as well. Find great singers and see if you can get them to sing this to your songs. But if you're talking about major label artists singing your songs, then you need to get to know the record labels and publishers, and in fact, anybody in the music business. You need to get to know other songwriters who may have connections to the singers that you want to have sing your songs. It's all about networking. And I'm not talking about Facebook networking where you just say, hello, will you listen to my song? Because nobody will. What it will be is more the case of you go out and you meet people in the music business. You go to networking nights, you go to seminars, conferences, you go to open mic nights, you go to any kind of music events where there are going to be music business people there, and you just talk to people. You get to know them on a social level. Don't go into these things with the hope of coming back with as many business cards as you can, because if you're not going to remember, let's say you come back with 20 business cards, you're not going to remember 20 people, and they're not going to remember you because you haven't had enough time. If you go to any kind of event and you meet someone in the music business, my goal is to come away with one new contact at the end of that evening or day or whatever it is. One contact that's a proper relationship in terms of you've talked about things and you've agreed to exchange emails, you've agreed to stay in touch, etc. And you've got to know somebody. This is a people business, people. So you've got to create these social relationships in order to have business relationships with them too. So that is key, okay? Get out and meet people, and the opportunities will come to you. Write with other writers. In the ideal world, collaborate with people that have publishing deals already. And then their publisher will be pitching songs to other singers, to signed artists. Excuse me just a moment. So next question from Roman Schmelter. I wrote a complete song and recorded a demo. The reaction of all my test listeners was great lyrics, but the melody of the chorus is not memorable enough. It has the highest note, doesn't start at the one, and so on. Are there tricks how to write a new melody over existing lyrics? Because I always have the original melody in my head. Yeah, I've been here many, many times, Roman, where we fall in love with what we've already done. It's like they're our children, aren't they? They're like our babies, and we go, oh, I love you, you're perfect just how you are, don't change at all. And usually it's our most recently written song that we love the most, and then 6 months later we go, actually no, it's not that one, it's this one, this new baby. What you have to do, I mean, I've worked with artists that have got the same thing. They're singing, even when I say sing something completely different, they will use different notes but in exactly the same phrase, or they'll use the same notes but in a different phrase. It'll always come back to sounding very similar to what they started with. And what I've already always said to these people is, surprise me. Do the very opposite of what you think you should do. And this will get that old melody out of your head. Do the very opposite, and don't feel necessarily tied into every single lyric that you've written. Try messing with the lyric too. Remember, a song is a fluid thing. Just because you've written down that lyric, it doesn't mean it has to be that. You're in control of this. So allow everything to change, to organically grow. Try new things. Try something completely different. Try a lyric that is completely different to what you've got but says the same message. But certainly with melodies, if you're really tied into that lyric, then try something completely different. Start really low and climb up. Start really high and climb down. Or try doing something really static. Try doing what we were talking about earlier, where you split the line into little triplets or couplets, but do the opposite of what you've already done. Do something absolutely crazy and out there. Remember, there's no right or wrong in songwriting. So you can do the most ridiculous thing and nobody cares. Nobody minds. It's okay to do this. And then you can start trying stuff that maybe not so ridiculous. So this is the way that I've always gotten out of this rut where you have the same melody stuck in your head. I will just think, what's the last thing that I would do on this chorus? And I'll try that. And sometimes that's exactly what I should be doing. So great question, Roman. Okay, more. So this is from Rado Floor. Hi, I believe I can write music and produce songs at the top level of the industry. Wow, I wish I could say that. How to start writing and producing songs. This is the first question. How to start writing and producing songs for top artists from major or indie labels? Question mark. I spent years on developing my craft, and now I want to succeed in creating great songs for great artists. So, okay then, well listen, I love your confidence, Rado, and I really, really hope that, that you're right. You know, if you believe that you can write and produce music at the very top level, then fantastic. I love your belief. If you want to write songs for artists, then first of all, you're going to need to know who you're writing for. I would say, you know, just to write something that you sound great singing doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a pitchable song. It may be terrific for you, but it may not be pitchable to other artists. So I would say, think about who you would like to have record your songs. Maybe start with this, where you select half a dozen artists that you think your songs would be great for, and and then start researching them. Start researching, first of all, their melodic range. See how low and high they can sing. See what kind of phrases they like singing. See if they like doing very staccato lyrics and therefore melodies, or whether they like doing these long, beautiful sort of romantic notes. See what kind of harmonic progressions they're using in their songs. See if it's a 3-chord trick, or whether they're putting in 8 chords with a demented third and a demolished fourth. And so you start really getting to know that artist musically. Then go on to Google or whatever search engine you like, and start researching what's happening in the private life of this artist. Get to know them personally as well. I don't mean go and stand outside their front door. I mean, find out what's happening personally with them. Find out if they've just got married or just had a baby or just broken up with someone. And then you can think about what kind of songs they might want to sing in that situation. And if you have experience in that situation, let's say that you've just had a baby or you've just broken up with someone, then you can write with authenticity, and that is key. You must write something that's true to you, but shape it for those artists. And secondly, so that's just in terms of get writing for specific artists. This will really help you focus. Secondly, you have to get to know people in the industry, because opportunities can come at the strangest times, and they will only come if you know people in the industry. And that again comes down to networking. It's not going to necessarily happen overnight, but it's not enough just to be very, very talented. Talent is never enough. You have to understand how the music business works. And as you may have heard at the beginning of this webinar, we're posting up within the next month a full course on the music business, how to network, where to network, and the do's and don'ts of it, and how to approach record labels and publishers, because you need to know these people in the business. And you know what? It's not the case that we have to go, in England we call it cap in hand, which means kind of like begging them to listen. Oh, please, will you listen to my song? Begging, pleading and yearning. No, we're actually doing them a favor. If we can give them a hit song that is going to create a massive amount of income for their artist, then we're doing them the favor. So it's a mutual thing. So think of it in these terms. They want to know us as much as we want to know them. So it's not something that should be scary. Going out and meeting record company people, publishers, lawyers, managers, producers, other songwriters is going to be your key to getting your songs out there. It's all about getting off your backside and creating a network of people in the music business. And then when they do finally listen to your songs, hopefully they're going to see the talent that you've got. Second question from Rado is, what is a fair deal I should aim at when being hired to write, produce songs for big artists? Don't worry about that yet. Wait until it happens, because what really happens, I mean, I've written with a lot of major label artists. There isn't a fee. what we do is we write on speculation, which means that we sit in a room with someone, we spend a day writing with them, and if we come up with something that is strong enough, then that artist may then go to the record label, and they'll all sit down in a meeting with the manager, the producer, the publisher, whoever else is involved in the team, and they will decide whether that song is strong enough for that artist to release it. And if that artist then releases it, and if it sells, we will get paid royalties from that. It's very rare these days for somebody to give you a fee for writing with an artist. So don't even worry about that right now. You know, maybe when it gets to Max Martin level, maybe we're talking about that somebody will pay him a guaranteed amount to write with someone. But for most professional songwriters, we're talking about, we do this on speculation. So we hope that our song is going to be good enough that we write with that artist, that it gets recorded, and the money will follow. So you then really only get paid if you deliver what you say you can deliver. Third question, how about protecting my demos and ideas from being stolen while giving demos to potential clients? Well, you know what? The moment that you create something and you record it on your computer or on your phone, you can prove the creation of that, i.e. you've got your lyric sheet on your computer, or you've uploaded the song up onto SoundCloud, then you've got proof, a timestamp, a digital timestamp, proving when it was created. So that is your copyright protection right there. And that's enough. And you know what? If somebody manages to steal a song and record it and release it without telling you and say that they wrote it, let them. Let them do this. Let them go and have a massive, massive hit. Don't stop them. Let them go have a massive hit with it. And then when it's made all of the money, you say, oh, excuse me, I've got this demo of the song that you've released with a digital timestamp on it. I bet my timestamp is earlier than yours. So you give me all of the money that you've made from that song. Happy days. You've just had a cut and you've got all of that money coming into you. So don't worry about this. You've got copyright protection digitally, so you're fine. I tend to upload things onto SoundCloud. So there's another server. Instead of just my computer, there's another server that's got a timestamp on that upload. So good luck with all of that, Rado, and I look forward to hearing some of your songs on Songwriting Academy. Right, I'm going to do one more question before I do a couple of song feedbacks. So Eliza M. I am an unknown artist and songwriter who happened to use some of an existing song's melody in her song. Not a sample, but I incorporated a bit of a melody from a song from the 1970s. I understand I would need permission to use a sample of a song, but do I need permission if I wanted to use a melody of a song, less than 30 seconds in my song? And if I need permission, is there a template or a way to approach the 70s song owner? Will they most likely ask for money up front or a cut? Will they simply not give permission because I am an unknown? Wow. Okay. So first of all, what you've done is actually deliberately plagiarized someone's work. So in terms of, let me look at it in terms of, if it were a sample, you would absolutely have to get permission to use this, and you would negotiate a fee with the owner of the original recording, with the actual authors of the recording as well. So not only the people that wrote the song, but also the people who own the master recording of that song. You would have to negotiate a fee with those people, a split, a royalty split with those people, and hopefully they're not going to turn around and say, I want 100% of that song. But taking someone's melody and knowing that you're doing it, this would mean that if you then released your song, and let's say that you then did have a hit with it, which presumably you want to have a hit with it, they could then take you to court and then say, you have deliberately taken this melody, we want all of the money because you plagiarized our song. You don't want to risk that. So you absolutely should contact the owners of the song, and that means hunting them down. It's about looking at who the original songwriters are. Wikipedia, if it's a well-known song especially, Wikipedia will tell you who the songwriters were, and then you can start tracing the songwriters. If hopefully they're still alive, so you can just contact them directly, find out who's managing them, or who their publisher is. You should be able to see, if you find a copy of the original recording, who owned the publishing of those original writers. And you absolutely need to get in touch with them and say, this would be a co-write, because I would like to use a little bit of this melody in my new song. And you then have to start negotiating a co-write. They may turn around and say, forget it, you can't release it, in which case you can't. They may turn around and say, yes, go ahead and release it, but we want 100%. And if you can't negotiate them down from that, you make a choice about whether you give 100% of the royalties to them. Or they may turn around and say, look, it's only 30 seconds, but it is essentially, it's the hook of our song. So we want to have 50% of the royalties of this song. Or they may say 30, 25. They may just turn around and say, you know what, go for your life. And we don't want anything, but thank you for letting us know. It all depends on the people you're dealing with, but go and ask permission. Absolutely do that. Really interesting question. And thank you for your candor as well, your honesty. You know what, I am going to do one more question here. And this question also from Eliza is saying, hello, I would love to hear more about what to do with completed songs or demos, who to send them to. Wow, it's a theme on this, right? Is there a list of companies to send for licensing? How to get established artists to consider singing your song? What are the basic resources to get started in the industry as a songwriter? Eliza, I think I've answered this on this call. I'm not going to repeat myself too many times for the other people on here, but absolutely get out and build your network of people in the industry. Just having great songs is not enough, and just having talent is not enough. You have to go out there and meet people. And I've talked about it. If you've only joined the call late, then go back to the beginning of this where I've spoken about networking to some degree already. So so thank you very much, all of the people who've put in questions. If you have more questions that you want answered on this call, if I have time after I've done the feedbacks on 2 songs that I've chosen from songwritingacademy.com, then I will absolutely happily answer those. If not, then we can have an early night. So I'm sure you've got more questions though. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into a couple of songs on from songwritingacademy.com. So the first one is, and by the way, if you want your song reviewed on these Q&A calls, I'm picking them really just by sort of like just going through and doing some random choices. But I won't be able to pick ones that don't have lyrics with them. So please do put your lyrics with the song, because I want you guys to read the lyrics to these songs as we do it. Now, this first song is called Till I Die. And it is by, who is it by? I'm trying to scroll down here. It's by Marc Minor. Hi, Marc. This is Marc Minor's song. I like that you're on the call. Right. And so let me just post the lyric up here. And do I just do this? Right. Can you all see that lyric? Just raise your hand if you can see the lyric. I'm not sure the raising hand thing is working here. Somebody give me a smiley face if you can see the lyric. Great. Excellent. Right. Okay then, Marc. So let's, he's going woohoo. Right. Okay. So here we go. Marc, well done for posting a lyric up there. So hopefully you're all going to be able to hear this okay. And in fact, I believe with Zoom now, we can share computer audio so you can hear it in really good quality. So just bear with me. That's more. Stop recording though. Video. What's this one? And oh no, I think we have computer audio. So we should be able to hear this. So here we go, Mark. Oh, let's just go back a little bit. All the way to the beginning. You'll hear that okay?
Sometimes I just let my head down. Sometimes I crawl on my knees on the ground. Sometimes I run against the wall. Sometimes I feel like I'm starting to fall. Sometimes I have.
I've just been told it's coming through the microphone and not the speaker. So let me just see if I can fix this. General audio. We'll get there. No. Where are you? Okay, right. Okay, I'm going to go back and do this again. So sorry about that, Mark. I'm going to go back and do this all over again, and we'll just listen through the mic here.
Sometimes I just let my head down. Sometimes I crawl on my knees on the ground. Sometimes I run against the wall. Sometimes I feel like I'm starting to fall. Sometimes I have nothing to lose. Sometimes I know there is nowhere to go. Sometimes I wonder if I'm already mad. Sometimes I just got an aching head, and I need a break. Yes, my life is a fake. The only reason to stay is a long, long way. That will lead me to you all my life through.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it there and ask you guys what you think. Let's have some of the comments in here about what you think of this song and what you think I'm going to say about this song. Even you, Mark, I'd love to hear what you think I'm going to say about this song. Because it's really weird, isn't it, when you've written a song and then you hear other people listening to it objectively. We suddenly hear things that we haven't previously heard. So Mark saying there's already a new version of the lyrics with some help by Paul Kahn. We'll post it soon. Okay. Can we please see what you guys think about this song? Okay, Benny Tillman is saying it has a nice 80s feel. Okay, the reproduction through the mic was not good enough for me to judge. Okay, sorry about that. Couldn't really hear it. Oh dear. Right. Is there anybody that could hear it? Lots of potential. Brian Max saying has a groove, which is cool. Lyrics are pretty cool. Needs some work. What sort of work do you think they need, Brian? And also we've got Julie saying, I can't really see the lyrics anymore, but the chorus could probably have a different melodic rhythm from the verse. It's a nice song. Okay, well, look, Mark, here's, and apologize if you couldn't hear it very well. If I can work out how to get the computer audio coming through, I will do. We'll get there. Thank you for bearing with us as well. I'm really trying my very, very best with this. In fact, hold on a moment. I was pretty sure that I'd already shared computer audio with you guys. Anyway, so my thoughts on this, Mark, it does have a very cool vibe to it. And lyrically, I really like the way in the verse you start every line with the sometimes. List songs are great, and I'm really pleased that this is one of the songs that, that I'm reviewing today, because lists are very, very powerful devices to use in songwriting. If you've been in Lyrics 101, you would have heard me talking about this before. There's loads of songs that use lists of things. Elton John, what have I gotta do to make you love me? What have I gotta do to make you care? What do I do? It's just a list of questions. And similarly with Christina Perri, a song called Human, where she's going, I can hold my breath, I can bite my tongue, and it's all I can. And it really draws the listener in, and that's exactly what you do here, Mark. You draw the listener in with these lists of things. So sometimes I just let my head hang down. Sometimes I crawl on my knees on the ground. Sometimes I run against the wall. Sometimes I feel like I'm starting to fall. Sometimes I have nothing to lose. Sometimes I know there is nowhere to go. Sometimes I wonder if I'm already mad. Sometimes I just got an aching head. So you're painting the picture of a place that we've all been, Mark. So very kind of universal. I love the honesty and authenticity of this as well. Your chorus, let's just look at the chorus first. And I'm going to post up this verse and chorus again for you guys so you can have a look at it. Here we go. Let's just go here, and I'm just going to type this in for you again. So we go from the verse, which is saying all of these sort of negative feelings, which really is the scene well. And then we lyrically in the chorus, we've got, and I need a break because my life is a fake. The only reason to stay is a long, long way that will lead me to you all my life through till the day I die. It feels, I'm not quite sure I understand the point of what you're saying. It sort of continues with the negativity, which is, you know, I need a break because my life is fake. The only reason to stay, I'm guessing you're saying, you know, you're the only reason I'm here till the day I die. The picture that we've got is that slightly unfortunate picture that it sounds like you're sort of at that point already. And I know the feeling. We all know this feeling where we're just kind of like tearing our hair out. But I think I would have loved to have heard something, you know, I talk about conflict in songwriting. I would have loved to have seen some conflict here where sometimes I just get all of this crap is happening to me and I really don't like it happening to me. And I just want to bang my head against the wall and I feel down about this, I feel down about that. And then for the chorus to come in with something like, but it all means nothing when I look at you, because you're the reason that I know that I want to live way past the time that I probably will. And so we have this, because I'm feeling that this song is written to someone that's saying that you pull me through. And I just want to sort of feel that positivity. So it becomes almost saying all of these really bad things. It almost becomes a vehicle for saying something amazing, just a massive compliment to someone. So lyrically, that's where I feel that it should be going. Hopefully that makes sense to you, Mark. All right, okay, I'm just trying to see the chat. Where's the chat room suddenly disappeared to? So yeah, hopefully that's making sense to you, Mark. And you know, it's just something that to have too much of one thing. Even if the song was really, really happy, happy, happy lyric all the way through, that might be too linear for me as well. And, if the verse was saying, you know what, I smile, and I laugh with, in fact, I've just written a song called Nobody Knows, where it's sort of, I can see my friends, I can laugh and smile with them all night long, and I can sing as if I don't have a care in the world. And the chorus suddenly turns it on its head and says, but nobody knows the broken heart I hide. And it's about somebody who's lost someone, and they're faking all of the happiness. And so just having that conflict, that contrast in the song, for me, it's quite a powerful thing to use. So that's my take on the lyric on this, Mark. Musically, I was just punching the air when, oh, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Got that out of the way. Musically, I was punching the air when you lifted into that chorus. I was really, really pleased about that. And you went, and we take it up there. And the first half of the chorus, you stay up there. And then the second half, it comes down, and it's sort of, it's almost like it's not part of the chorus. I'll play you what I mean. So da 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 is our verse. So we've got quite a static melody, which is fine. It's na 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 na. So it's all around this kind of area. La 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 la. So it's a small cluster of notes there. And then that's great. There's your big spike right there. Which is really, really powerful, Mark. And I was just like, yes, he took the chorus up there. I need a break. Cause my life is a fake. The only reason to stay. So forgetting about the lyric here, what I wanted, you've just given me a massive hook at the beginning of the chorus, and I need a break. And I want to hear it again, Mark. Where is it again? It's like, your lyric is going, is a long, the only reason to stay, and then is a long, long way. I just want to hear, and I want to hear that all over again. So you've given me a hook. I need a break. The only reason to stay. And I'll probably go to the 5 there. The only reason to stay. Oh, in fact, it's not the 5, is it? Is it the 5? So if you're in E minor, it would be like the B7. So whichever key you're in. So I don't know what that is in the numbering system. So here we go. And then I want to hear, and I want to see you today. I want to hear that melodic hook again, because it was so good. Like I said, I was punching the air, and then it almost like a middle 8, this, or bridge. And I think that your harmonic structure changes here as well. So for me, lyrically, I'd love to hear some positivity in the chorus, and melodically, I want to hear that hook again. So these would be my 2 top tips for this song. And if you wouldn't, I guess you've already lyrically, you said you've done some extra work with Paul Kahn on this, and that's great that you've done that. But so I'd love to see how that is. If you drop it into the forum and just mark it for my attention, just tag me on it, then I'll come and have a listen to it. But give me that melodic hook again in the chorus, Mark. But you've got so many great elements in there. Love the list, love the hook in there, love the melodic contour. You take it up there. And so if you wouldn't mind, have a little reshape of it. If you feel that the advice is worth taking, and let me hear it. So great. Let's everybody give Mark a big round of applause for that. Hey, and hands up and raised hands, etc., etc. Oh, great. We've got a load of raised hands there. Thank you for supporting a fellow member. Okay, then. So the next song that I'm going to play you, and hopefully you're going to be able to hear it. This is a song called Almost Too Much Good to Stand. So very interesting title. This song is by Kelly Nash. And it's, as I say, it's called Almost Too Much Good to Stand. I'm just going to drop the lyric in here. Okay. Now just wonder if you can, here we go. I'm just looking at your comments here about this. So that's when we lost the sound. Yeah, well done, Mark. Yeah, very cool vibe. You got a lot of thumbs up there, Mark. Well done. Oh, and you are going to try. Thank you very much. So I've just dropped the lyric in here from the next song, Almost Too Much Good to Stand by Kelly Nash. Kelly, if you're here, make yourself known, and let's have a listen to Kelly's song.
Oh, I hear it simmer somewhere beneath. You're cooking up worry, so much so I can feel the steam. And if I lean in closely, I can hear you turning gears between your ears. Let me assure you, darling, look at these fears.
Okay, on to the chorus.
Well, can you recall when you had it this good, and the life in your hands, it's almost too much good to stand.
Okay, so that's the verse and the chorus of Too Much Good to Stand. Once again, people, lovely people, could you please put your comments in here about what you have heard on this song? And you know what, if you want to go on to songwritingacademy.com, go into the community and look in songs that are posted up, and you can find Kelly Nash, Almost Too Much Good to Stand. But what do you think? What do you think? What do you think lyrically, and what do you think musically? Okay, so Benny is saying, I would suggest that in the opening verse you start in a lower tone and then open up more in the chorus. Interesting thought, yeah. Kevin was saying seems to be long delays between each line. I think in the chorus, possibly more so, because he's playing this sort of, this bluesy sort of, I guess it's that Midwest kind of bluesy feel, the licks and stuff. Sounds like a folk type song to me. Let's have some feedback on these lyrics. You know, the reason I'm asking you guys to do this is not because I'm lazy. It's because I want you to really start analyzing other people's lyrics, because this is going to help you analyze your lyrics. You'll be hopefully starting to think, oh, I wonder what they would say in the forum about this. I wonder what they'd say on the live webinar about this. So give me some feedback on the lyrics, get into some depth here on there. And also on the melodies that you have heard on here. So try and be really specific with some of your feedbacks. Great, Steve. Yeah, there's some really good internal rhyming on here. Great, well spotted. So there's some great narrative. Kevin, you like the lyrics. What do you like about it? Let's have some examples here. Interesting, isn't it, when you really start to try and analyze these things? I'm going to point out a couple of things. Do post up more comments while I'm talking, because I'm reading these, everybody, and I really want to see what you think. There we go. Mark saying, love that line. You're cooking up worries so much I can feel the steam. I really like that as well. I'm going to talk while you're typing. Please do keep typing. But yeah, I think there's some really, really clever lyrical stuff going on here. I love the vibe of it. You can feel that sort of, that intensity, especially coupled with the music. There's great prosody here, and prosody is where we match the musical theme to the lyrical theme. And there's a slight sort of like edgy darkness to the music here, and there is to the lyrics too. So I can see it simmering somewhere beneath. You're cooking up worries so much so I can feel the steam. I really love that. I often talk about opening the song within the first two lines. Get something unusual in there. Get a standout line in there. And absolutely, Kelly has done this really well. So immediately there's this whole kind of kitchen vibe. Not, I don't mean this in a flippant way, but we have cooking metaphors. I can see it simmering somewhere beneath. You're cooking up worries so much so I can feel the steam. Now here's the thing. When it gets to, and if I lean in closely, I can hear you're turning gears between your ears. I love that internal rhyme, but suddenly I'm thinking about an engine, and the whole cooking thing has disappeared. That whole kind of like, they're two separate metaphors. It's like saying, the song is about forest fire. Let's say you write a song about, and you're saying, our love is like a forest fire, and your eyes are like the ocean. It's like, well, hold on a minute. I thought we're in the forest, not the ocean. So this was I talk about the golden thread. And the golden thread is when you use metaphors, try and keep them within the same theme, within the same place. So don't take us from a forest fire to the middle of the ocean, or I'm shipwrecked somewhere. And similarly with this, as much as I love that line, I can hear you're turning gears between your ears. Immediately I felt that I was taken out of the original place that I was put in the song, which is this whole thing about cooking. There's steam, there's simmering. There's three things that tell me that there's going to be some metaphors about the kitchen. Then suddenly turning gears. I'm like suddenly in a garage, workshop, or in a car, listening to an engine. And so let me assure you, darling, and put to bed those fears. So I can see what's going on in there, and I love the way that he's talking to the person. I love the conversational element to it. But the one thing that just slightly sort of distracted me, it didn't put me off, it distracted me, was this mixing of the metaphors. And then we get the chorus. Can you recall when you had it this good, and the life in your hand and life in your hands was almost too much good to stand? I'm not quite sure. I have to think about what this means. Can you recall when you had it this good and the life in your hands was almost too much good to stand? I'd love to know what the point of this song is. And for me, when we know what the point of our song is, the chorus is the place where we deliver it. So if you're saying, hey, let's get back, because I'm still not quite sure what you're actually saying to this person that you're talking to. If it's, hey, let's get back to how we used to be, I would love a line that clearly states, not necessarily with those words, but let's get back to how we used to be. Or if it's never going to be as good as it used to be, then something that says that. Whatever it is that you're actually saying, write that down on a bit of paper and then think, right, how am I going to sing that in this chorus? Because I'm not quite sure what the point of the song is here. I feel that I'm kind of there, and I'm intrigued because your lyrics have really pulled me in, Kelly, but I'm slightly confused as to what I'm supposed to be feeling about this song. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe other people. I'd love to know if you guys can get the message from this. musically, I love the vibe of this. I love the heat and the intensity of it, this sort of swampy feel to it. I think it's really, really cool. The one thing, in fact, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think I'm going to say about melodic contour here? And while you're typing that, I'm just going to read a few of these comments. Nice country feel to the verse, cool lyrics. I like the comparisons with mechanical things. It would be good to take the chorus somewhere else musically. Where, Brian Mack? Where would you take the chorus musically? And then Darren is saying maybe too much oomph in the chorus, so it's hard to take in a verse, so it's hard to take it further in the chorus. Might be good to hold back a bit in the verse. What do you mean here, Darren? Again, let's try, when we do these, let's try and get into real specifics. So too much oomph in the verse. What do you mean? Melodically, lyrically? What are we talking about here? So, because I want you guys to be able to analyze your songs like this. Thank you, Gregory. Take the chorus to higher notes. I totally agree with you. And this is a very, very simple experiment to try. If Kelly, if you do watch this back, then I'd love you to try it. You know what? No one's holding a gun to anyone's head and saying, you have to do what we suggest on here. But there are certain things that people are used to and that people respond really favorably to. And one of those things is having a chorus which is higher than the verse. One of the reasons that this works is because higher frequencies attract our attention. I've said this before to you guys, and some of you may not have heard me say this, but think of things that attract our attention with high frequencies. A cymbal crash attracts our attention more than a bass drum does. A siren, a police siren, doesn't go woo, woo, woo. It goes woo, woo, woo. Very, very high frequency, and it really, really affects us. Babies crying. Babies don't go, I want more milk. They say, nah, and they scream, because that's the way we get people's attention with high notes. And when we're angry, our voices get higher because we want them to listen to us, whoever we're angry, whoever we're shouting to at. So high frequencies, and that's one of the main reasons why choruses have more high notes, because they command more attention. We want them to command more attention. And this isn't just Gregory saying this. Brian Mack is saying take the chorus up in pitch so it stands out from the verse. And then Kevin has said same high notes in the verse, then repeated in the chorus, which detracts from the message in the chorus. And Kevin is, yep, agree. So give this a try, Kelly. Let's have a listen to this again. Let's have a look at the melodic contour. It's quite. And if I'm leaning closely, I can hear you turning. Da, 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 da. Somebody grab a guitar and tell me what that. Oh, I've got a guitar here. It's an out of tune guitar. It's not mine. It's either an A or a B flat, I think. And da, 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 da. So he's up there in the verse. Da, da, da. Let me assure you, darling. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. It's tough when you've already gone to da, 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 to go higher in the chorus. So I think this is what Kevin might have been saying, or not quite sure who it was. Oh, Darren might have been saying about keeping the chorus, the verse melody in a more sort of, I guess, just in a lower register. I can see it simmering somewhere beneath, cooking up words somewhere around here. And then when we get to the chorus, we've had da 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 da, and here comes the chorus. Sounds like a pre-chorus or even a bridge. And then a long bit. Yeah, still lower than that. And the laughing So melodically, it's in a very similar place to a lot of the verse. And so if you were to draw this as an average note line, you'd probably find the verse here and the chorus maybe even a little bit lower of the average note that is hit, the average frequency that's hit. So Julia's saying maybe it's actually a he. Kelly is a guy, but maybe you could try bringing the melody in the verse down by about a third. Yeah, I agree. Bring that melody down. And then when you get to this chorus, then you can go, I mean, can you recall when you had it this good? All the life in your hands was almost too much to stand. Repeat, can you recall? And then repeat the hook. Whatever you decide the hook is going to be, I'm just busking here. But if you have da 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 da, and the verse is, I can see it simmering somewhere beneath, because also you're even singing. Simmering means underneath something. So if you keep this verse all underneath where the chorus is going, then you're also mirroring what the lyric is saying with your melody. But you know, all of this aside, these are very, very small things to try. And I agree. I think because the chorus has got these long gaps in between it, it doesn't feel so chorusy. It's a great opportunity. Absolutely, Kelly. You're a great guitarist to have these little licks that are running through, but it doesn't lyrically hold the attention so much as the verse does. It's almost like the verse is more important. But it's a small fix if you want to try it. And like I said, you don't have to try it, but it's a small fix if you do want to try it, to bring the verse down, take the chorus up, and then you get a chance, if you take those licks out from in between the lines and then repeat your chorus, then you've got repetition in there as well. And tell us what you're actually saying to the person you're singing to, the point of the song. If it's, let's get back to where we were, or let's get back to when it was amazingly good, then say something that really leaves us in no doubt as to what that is. But thank you very much, Kelly. You've got some great stuff in there, really what's going on. So I'd love to hear another sort of tweaked version of this. Because, you know, he goes on to say, every day I make you breakfast, coffee and eggs. Tell you that I love you. Be sure to hug and kiss your neck. We've got to keep some perspective. Everything will all work out, regardless of the outcome. I'm always yours, never a doubt. Now, you tell me what the point of the song is in verse 2, but most people won't get past chorus 1 if you don't tell them the point there. It's just human nature. So get something that says that in the chorus, please. It is a great song. Yeah, the guitar playing is wonderful. Everyone's saying that song's got potential and it's fantastic. So, you know, we're all behind you here, Kelly. Just a few tweaks. I'd love you to experiment if you wouldn't mind, please. Cool. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left. I think we've got a couple of other questions here. Let me just fire up the Q&A box again. If you've got any final questions, people, then now is your chance to put them in there. I'll get through what I can in 10 minutes. After answering this one, if there are no other questions, I'm not just going to talk at you about random things. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. So your chance to get what you want from me. I'm here every 2 weeks, by the way, on this live Q&A call. Tell everybody else in the community to get on here and to meet everybody. You're all like-minded people that are trying to forge forward, and this is fantastic that we're here every 2 weeks doing this. I love these things. So Martin, this is from Michael Walton. Hi again, Michael. Martin, I believe that if a song is strong enough and hit material, it should be able to stand alone just on guitar or piano with vocals, and perhaps a backing is not necessary to convince a publisher or record company. What is your take on this? No. Do you know what, Michael, in the ideal world, wouldn't it be fantastic if publishers and record label people, the A&R people, could see through, just see the production could visualize what it's going to sound like as the full record, but they don't. Most of them don't. Occasionally you will find more of an old-fashioned A&R person that has what we call ears, and they can envision what a song will sound like. If you're pitching a song for an artist like Adele, where it might just be, it's a ballad, so an Adele type artist, bear in mind that Adele co-writes all of her own songs, but an Adele type artist where it is just piano and vocal, and that's what it's supposed to be, great. If you're pitching to a James Taylor like artist, an acoustic singer-songwriter kind of vibe, then a guitar and a vocal is what it will probably end up being, so that's all you need to put on it. But if you're pitching to people that would normally have the full production on a song, whether it be a jazz production, a pop production, a classical crossover, a country, a urban production, whatever it may be, do not rely on people. Just don't take the chance, Michael, because you may well miss out. And I will give you an example of this, a working example of it. I was asked to write a song by a record label for an act that they had on their roster. And they said to me, just send in a piano vocal, that'll be fine. I spent 2 weeks crafting this song on my own. I wrote the song on my own, and I wrote it every day for 2 weeks. And then finally, when I had to finish what I thought was absolutely spot on article, I did a piano vocal. I got a wonderful singer and an amazing singer, and had a lovely piano track for her to work to. The singer's called Sarah Howells, by the way. Look her up. She's got an incredible voice. And so I got this wonderful Sarah to come in and sing the song. She nailed the vocal. And I'm listening to this thing thinking, yeah, this is great. This is going to be the best piano vocal that I've ever heard. Sent it into the record label, heard nothing back, nothing. And the next day, and they were expecting me to send something. I said, oh, I'm sending it in. And I thought, oh, they obviously don't like the song. The next day, or it might have even been the day after, my friend who's a producer came into my studio, and I said, hey, what do you think of this song? And I played it to him, and he said, it's great. When are you going to finish recording it? I went, I did. They just want a piano and a vocal. And he just looked at me and he went, Martin, make the record. And I looked at him and I went, oh, you're right, aren't you? He went. And in 24 hours, I turned it around. I got my daughter to come in and make a kids choir in the background. I had all kinds of military snares on there and brass, because it was kind of a military song. And I had the drums, I had bass, I had strings, I had everything on there that should be on there on the record. And as soon as it was done, and I did the best mix I could, I was panicking at this point. I thought, oh, I've lost the gig. And as soon as it was done, I sent it to them and I said, oh, I'm really sorry, I sent you the wrong mix. This is the actual mix I was supposed to send you. Within 2 hours, they'd come back to me and said, oh, we love it. We're going to record it. And mine was the only original song on that album. The rest were all covers. That for me was a massive learning curve that I absolutely, and this was one of the biggest labels out there, a massive learning curve that you can't trust people to necessarily hear the song. Michael, I'd love to say that they could, but in my experience, I've been there where I've sent them a piano vocal and they didn't get it. I sent them the full track and they came back by return and said, we love it, because they heard it properly. So the answer to your question is no. Do you know what? Do what you want, but don't take the chances. My advice. Don't rely on someone's imagination to hear what you're hearing in your head. Give it to them on a plate and make it the best quality recording it can be. So I'm really pleased you posted up that question, Michael. So Brian Mack has said, do you find songwriters in the academy that you are prepared to collaborate with? I don't know if you mean the you as in me. I mean, I've got my collaborators that I work with here. To be honest with you, I've done very little collaboration recently because I've been working so hard on the Songwriting Academy and our YouTube channel. So a lot of my energy is going into that. But if you're talking about, can you find collaborators to work with? Why don't I ask the people that are on there? We've got a bunch of people on this chat. Why don't you tell me, give me a show of hands of how many people have are willing to collaborate with other people in the Songwriting Academy community? Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Yes, 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 yes. Wow. Loads and loads and loads of you. How many of you, let's have a show of hands now. How many people have already collaborated with other people in the Songwriting Academy? Great stuff. This is so good. So Brian, the answer to your question is you are in a community of like-minded people. Everybody wants to have a hit record. You're all getting the same educational resources in the courses that we're giving you and how we get hit songs out there. You're all on the same page. You're all able to speak the same language, talk about the same techniques, to talk about melodic contour to each other. Hey, you remember in this course where we learned about melodic contour, or in this course where we learned about internal rhyming, you all have the same language, you all have the same foundations. We all know the same stuff now. And so this is your chance to work with people that are just like you. All you have to do is reach out to people. And remember that arranging collaborations, don't just try and find somebody that you think is your best shot at getting there quicker. You think, oh, you know what, they look like they're more successful than someone else. Don't do that. No, just no. Work with people that you get on with. Start leaving comments on people's songs. Start joining in chats about different things, and getting into these different forums to talk about songs. And find people that you think, you know what, this person, this woman, or this guy, they kind of feel like my kind of person, and you know, we share the same sense of humor, or you know, I find him funny, and he seems to find me funny, or hey, look, you know, we kind of have the same lyrical feel, or I love the way he writes lyrics. I'd love to be able to write lyrics like that. And that other person may be thinking, wow, I'd love to be able to write melodies like Brian Mack can. So whatever it is, you've just got to network with people within this community. Just because you are in a community here, you may not be talking to somebody that has had a massive hit record, but any one of you can and will if you work hard enough. And so that person, you may turn somebody down because you think important enough yet. You know what, a year down the line, they may be sitting on a global hit and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'd better send them a message now and to say that I want to co-write with them. You know what, they'll have moved on. But if you're there right next to them, shoulder by shoulder through this whole thing, and you're working with them, then you're all going to have hits together. You're all each other's graduation class. So stick together, write with each other, and use the techniques that we teach in Songwriting Academy and create those hits of the future. There's lots and lots of you on this academy. You know, we're rapidly approaching like 1,000 people around the world. 1,000 people around the world that all want the same things. So so just do it, dive in, have fun, and I can't wait to hear the results, everybody. So I can't believe how quickly this has all gone. Thank you all so much for your questions. Really appreciate all of the questions. We've got all of the, I'm just seeing all of the comments here. Kevin is saying I'm getting flooded out. I don't know if that's literally or with people wanting to co-write with you, Kevin. Mark Miner is willing and doing. Yes, 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 absolutely. Julie's saying stay cool, Martin. I'm going to try, Julie. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you check out our YouTube Songwriting Academy. as well. Look at the song breakdowns and see how I break down songs, and you start doing the same thing too. The more you analyze other people's songs, the more you'll be able to analyze your own, and your songwriting will get quicker and faster and simpler and more fun and better. So appreciate all your questions. I'll see you guys again in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you so much, and spread the word about the Songwriting Academy. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is presenting what we're doing, and nobody else has got this incredible community of like-minded people. So please help me build it. This is my goal, to have a community right around the world of people that are all positive, non-toxic, get all the toxic people out of our lives, and people that all want to have a hit record and want to help each other. So do exactly that, please. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to go on holiday and dip in a pool somewhere. So have a great time in whatever you're doing, whether you're in the sunshine or the rain. Have a fantastic time and stay awesome, everybody. Love you guys, and see you soon. Bye now.